3-0. It's a pretty good start. Mahomes and company off to a tear, to tell you the truth. A lot to talk about in this week's Film Room. Let's get started. Welcome back to RGR. I'm Ryan, and this is me going rogue on the Kansas City Chiefs and the NFL. If you're new to the channel, this is everything Chiefs. This is my take. A lot of new viewers lately. Want to say hello and thank you all. If you are new, click that sub, the bell for the notifications. Leave your comment below and give me a thumbs up if you like this particular video. Gonna do a little bit more kind of spray action here with the film review. Gonna go through more plays. Maybe not as in-depth, but we'll see what happens because I have a tendency to get going when I do. Before that, I just want to start with a couple of notes on the game, and then we'll get into the film. On the offensive side, I was pretty happy they came out with the 12 personnel group. I thought that it worked pretty well, and it was really interesting to me that when they did go to a single tight end, that it was Bell that stayed in the game early on. I think it was the 4th or 5th snap. Kelce had gone out. Bell comes in, they continue to roll. Thought that they got off on a decent pattern early. Again, a little bit slow, and then they hit their stride in the second quarter. That's definitely the way things have been going. But I don't know what's going on with Kelce. He doesn't look re-injured to me or anything like that. He looks like he's creeping towards 100%. Maybe it was just a conditioning thing. I did notice a couple of times that I felt both he in particular, but on the defensive side of the ball as well, it looked like conditioning was a little bit of an issue, that they're not quite 100% on that. So they still need to step that up a little bit. I don't think it's a big deal, but just something that stood out to me when I watched the film again. Now, as for the players themselves, very happy for Darrell Williams. Thought he did a good job. I thought he showed what he can do when given the feature role. We'll have look here at him in a little bit. Ended up getting more touches than Shady because of the injury. And I don't know if that's going to be a permanent injury or something that has to worry about whether he's going to be able to recover within a week. Certainly looks like LeSean's able to recover better than Damian is. I'm a little bit surprised by that, but it is what it is. Going forward, I feel like Darrell's in a position to reap some of the rewards from that, and I feel like he's in prime slot to do that. I have confidence in him. So a little bit looking forward for him. And then on the defensive side of the ball, I'm going to call it the O&O factor. And that's because, as we'll see here in a bit, because of the attention given to Frank in particular, and I know a lot of folks are worried about Frank Clark. I'll address that here in a minute. As well as Chris Jones, the guys that are reaping the rewards are Ogbah and Okafor. Ogbah had like 9 pressures against the Baltimore Ravens and now has, I tweeted it out, 35.5% of what he did all last season he's done in these first 3 games. So really a guy that's clearly stepping up to his role as a part-time player and really reaping the benefits of it. Also, Okafor I thought played well. I mean, yeah, he got embarrassed by an elite athlete with the ball in his hands, but I thought he played well. I think he's getting some more pressures. I think he's rounding into shape. I think those are the 2 guys that are going to continue to pay off when it comes to the repercussions from paying so much attention to Jones and Clark. Now, that said, let's get into the film. I'm just going to go through them all. I'm not going to have a whole lot of talking points in between. We'll just skip from play to play to play. We're going to start with maybe the most electrifying play of this third game for the Chiefs going against the Baltimore Ravens. And it's a little bit hard to decipher right off the top. It looks like it's going to be a cover 3 shell with both the corners looking like they're in zone turns, but diving deep towards the deep thirds. And this safety looking like he's going to be responsible for the middle, with what is Earl Thomas really kind of lurking in more of a robber type position. But the problem is they're not 100% on it. There's going to be some confusion here with this cornerback who's currently lined up, Mecole Hardman, as well as this linebacker. They both look like they're in similar drops, not really accounting for it. And Earl definitely does not get back. Coverage does not go with Mecole Hardman, who's just going to make pretty much what he does best. Streak off the line of scrimmage, use his speed. Mahomes is going to notice it pretty quickly. And what we're going to see here is a little bit slow, just so we can get a good feel for it, and then we'll watch it real time here. And as we roll, Sammy Watkins puts himself between Hardman and the line. Corner kind of drops into a shallower zone. Nobody is with Hardman. It's wide open. This is another blown coverage because of the pre-snap motion, because of the fact that you are trying to force this defense, forcing themselves really into trying to do something that they are not really prepared to do and haven't been able to do enough preparation for. So here it is real time, and you'll see that both Earl and 26 are going to not be in a position to really take on Hardman. Hardman gets a free release. Obviously, they're off the line of scrimmage, and it just lets him run. And right here, it's over. Mahomes sees it, and it's on the way. Nice acceleration here, and for those who thought that he might get caught, when he really turns it on, you like to see him accelerate. Would enjoy seeing him do a little bit better job of holding on to the ball here. At the end, he gets it, and just a little bit too loosey-goosey for me. Now, I want to highlight my guy, Darrell Williams. You guys have heard me talk about him, and known as a power back, a big guy, 225. It's good size, but I think what you've seen or what he showed against the Baltimore Ravens is really that he is more than just a power back. He can accelerate. He's been very good catching passes, but he's been able to accelerate a little bit better so far this season. I think he really showed it off here. He is going to move over, take this handoff, and cut off tackle here in an outside zone. But it's interesting that that's not the key to the play. The key is up front. This three-man group here on the right side from the center over to the right guard. Schwartz is going to block out. LDT is going to make contact, slide off, and get this linebacker who doesn't know he's coming. And the block of this play comes from Austin Reeder, who actually reaches all the way around the D tackle and is able to get him on his heels so that Williams can cut up into the hole and take off. Let's look at it here in a little bit slower action so that we are aware of just how these guys are getting these things done. The motion does help widen just a little bit. The linebacker slides back to the opposite side with the safety over the top. Now, Reeder gets his turn real easy. LDT up on his guy, and all Williams has to do is cut up into the hole and take off. Heads for the sidelines, and Earl Thomas has to save the play, or it would have gone for a touchdown. Now, the interesting thing, so when you look at it from the wide view, you can really see just how much the motion, again, is what's affecting the play. As he comes over, and we're going to go look in real time, actually, Travis Kelce brings the safety, which sends the linebacker back, which helps LDT get his block. And then it's just a lane right there. It's not super big, but for a big back, it was pretty good size. And he made it pay. The Ravens made a couple of decisions going for fourths and two-point conversions because they're desperate to keep up with this team. They did some other things that were pretty desperate. A lot of confused coverages, taking gambles, actually. I mean, this was a riverboat on their part. And what you're going to see here is what's going on in the back is going to end up being a cover three with these corners diving deep, protecting their deep thirds. And what you're going to see is this particular defender, though aligned at the back towards the middle of the defense right now, is actually going to take an underneath, shallower, not a flat route, but an intermediate zone. So is this defender over here. So it's going to be a 3 over the top and a 2 under. As we roll forward, I want to show you this. It's really interesting. Where the deep middle coverage is going to come from is way over here. That is a tall order. You've seen Spags do something a little bit similar with Kendall Fuller, but just as they go, this is what it gives you. A shallow defender who's probably doing his job as it was designed allows Mecole Hardman to get right past him. This was a missed opportunity on Pat's part. We'll talk about that in a second. But you see, the corners are in their deep thirds. This has come all the way back and tried to take that deep middle, but in the meantime, letting Mecole Hardman go with the 2 guys underneath. Now, as we back that up again, just watch the action in real time and see how fast Mecole Hardman gets open. This is the key, because it's fast, and yet Mahomes was not able to deliver the ball. And that is because of what they were doing along the front. And unfortunately, it's an overload. They were able to take this gamble because they knew that they were sending a ton of guys up front. And what you see here very first, 5 offensive linemen and Darrell Williams into block. You've got one-on-ones here because of the alignment. LDT knows that he has Darrell Williams to his right-hand side in here in the B gap. So he is coming down, trying to protect that nose, the shortest path to the quarterback, with Austin Reeder. Darrell steps up into his gap and protects against the linebacker, which does leave 2 defenders out here on Mitchell Schwartz, but he actually has that well in hand. The problem comes from the backside. And this matchup right here with Matt Judon, a guy I told you about last week that really played very, very well. He's going to get the best of Cam Irving. This is not one of Irving's best plays, but this is why they were able to take that particular chance with these players diving for these very, very far away zones. It's because of the pressure. It's a little bit confusing, and the pressure gets home. Real quickly, want to address the fact that there hasn't been a whole lot of sacks attained by the pressure up front. A lot of folks complaining about Frank Clark in particular, about what he's been able to do, and this is going to show you why. What the Ravens decided to do is keep a nearly max protected here with both backs coming in to stay in the pass protection mode, although Ingram's going to have an option to go late and leak out late in the play. But they're going to end up having what's going to be 7 offensive players to defend 4 pass rushers, and you'll see how this play progresses here. As we roll forward, and I'm going to do this slowly so you guys can see it, fullback is going to come across the play and actually end up right here. And so, as you can see, they have a tight end. They have a double on Chris Jones, singled up on Derek Nottie, a waiting double here on Frank Clark. And Ingram is coming out here just in case they get some outside pressure from Darren Lee. And if not, he's going to leak out and be able to be in a pattern to get a pass. And as it comes around, Jackson's looking. Lee has not presented himself as a threat, so Ingram is leaking out. Frank has come back into this guard here who is holding him up, essentially with both Stanley out there as well, the tackle waiting in case he has to re-engage. You have over here now what's a 2-on-1 on Wk3, and Chris Jones doubled as well. So essentially 3 doubles across the front. The one guy that's singled up is Derek Nottie, and he has successfully beaten his block, and he's going to try to make a stab at getting to Jackson. But at this point, with Jackson shifting to the right and away from Nottie, he doesn't have a great chance of doing it. In full speed, this is what it looks like. He does come underneath and gets a hit on him, just didn't get there in time. And that's what I have today. Let me know what you guys thought, or if you're something that you think I should go back and look at. I appreciate all the folks that have been in the live chats lately. Been going great. I'll hit the Welcome to the Kingdom stuff. I know they're starting to come off the shelf a little bit, so I appreciate that. Thank you for your support and the support on the chats. If I missed anything in particular that you want to see, drop me a line and I'll try to take a look at it. I got a couple of outtakes or whatever that I might be able to include, something either on Twitter or maybe a real quick extra session. Going to look at the game plan for the Detroit Lions coming up on Friday. Hope you guys are having a good week. Look for the game plan video on Friday for the Detroit Lions. Check these videos out, and I'll talk to you next time.